right, thank you for tuning in to another show of Blacklisted MX. Shout out to Slow Ride Garage. They're the sponsors of this podcast. If you want some of this dope merch you see here, check out www.slowride.com. Today we got another special guest. Like I always say, they're special. We got Brandon Wright, 2022 Baja 1000 Ironman champion. Brandon, dude, I have to give it to you, man, because I've never met you. We got mutual friends, and my buddies have told me stories about you, man. I was just in California recently and hanging out with some of the guys, man, and they started telling me stories, and I was like, dude, I got to get you on the show. I got to get you on the show. Things didn't work out while I was there, but I got you now. But just, man, just to be able just to talk about the Baja 1000, that's kind of why the reason I brought you on the show is just that race in particular I want to discuss with you. Just being able to do the Baja 1000 as you know it is tough. But to be able to do it Ironman solo, it just makes it that much more difficult. What type of preparation goes into this race? Weeks before, months before? What do you put into it before you actually even race the event?
I mean, there's so many things to think about. Obviously, try to do some exercise and stuff to get just me into shape for the actual race. But there's a lot that goes on, like with the bike too, trying to think of every little thing that could possibly go wrong and trying to be prepared for that. But then it just keeps adding up more and more money, trying to think of everything and be prepared for every little thing, trying to have extra sets of wheels and extra parts and all that stuff. And then like all the help you need people, at race mile 100, race mile 150, 200, and you can only do so much. So at some point you kind of just say, well, let's kind of hope for the best. We've done what we can. But yeah, it's just, there's a whole bunch of stuff that could go wrong, and you try to just think of the things that you can control, and then just go from there.
Okay. From what I hear, man, you were out prepping for the race, and before the race even took place, I'm not sure how much time before that, but you actually ended up breaking your ribs prior to you even racing the event. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was down there pre-running. So for the 1000 you pre-run, for like I think 3 weeks they let you pre-run ahead of time on the actual course, and I think about 10 days, 11 days before the race, I was out pre-running in the middle of the desert and just kind of cruising, not taking any chances, and had a little crash and ended up breaking two ribs. I rode for the rest of that day, and I think the next day I rode too, and then it seemed like it was getting worse, so I ended up going to the hospital in San Felipe, and they told me, they did the X-rays and stuff, and they told me that, I forget how they worded it, there was a risk of puncturing my lung basically if I was, to crash again or anything like that. So
Hmm.
I kind of said, all right, maybe I should pull the plug. And so I ended up leaving Mexico and coming home and, just kind of be like, well, that's it. It's all over. And then I think I was home for 3 or 4 days, just kind of licking my wounds, feeling sorry for myself. And then I ended up just saying, screw it. I'm going to go back down and see what I could do, because I had all this money and all this help from all my sponsors. I didn't want to let everybody down. So I just said, I'm just going to go see what I can do and go for it.
So you decided to wake up and just decided to say, "Fuck it," I'm a race this event with broken ribs, man. I
Yeah.
mean, how did that play on you mentally? Like prior to even thinking about it, like were you already like once you found out the extent of your injuries, were you like, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I don't want to do it, or
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a bummer. For me, like pre-running is kind of where I try to make myself kind of suffer. Like for that 2 or 3 weeks, I try to suffer out there like as much as I can, so that on race day I'm not suffering as much. So it wasn't so much the broken ribs at one point. It was that I sat at home for 4 or 5 days feeling sorry for myself with broken ribs, eating
yeah.
Twinkies and drinking beer.
Yeah.
And so when I finally decided, okay, I'm going to go back down, I was kind of bummed that I had sat around for 4 or 5 days feeling sorry for myself, even though I was injured, so I wasn't able to do a whole lot anyways. But
Yep.
so that was kind of the bad thing. But yeah, then I went down and I think I rode one day, with the ribs hurt just to kind of see how it felt. I took it easy, rode like 50 miles just to see how this was going to work out.
Hmm.
And then it looked like it was going to be okay. And so I
Okay.
just went for it. And it actually wasn't, to be honest with you, I mean, it's a good story and a good excuse, but the ribs didn't really affect me that much, like for the race. Once I got started, there was so many like other factors and crazy shit going on that it was kind of like the ribs, it wasn't something I was really thinking about. There was so much other pain and stuff going on just from being
Uh,
tired. So yeah.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say once you got so many miles, like first couple hundred miles, how was that comfort level for you then?
Yeah, I don't remember really thinking too much about my ribs, to be honest with you. I mean, because like I said, like a couple hundred miles in, like you're saying, you start getting so many other things come in. You're dehydrated and you're tired already. Your legs are burning, and there was things on my bike that were starting to go. Just small things that were going wrong that I had to deal with. And so I don't remember the ribs being like a huge factor, to be honest with you. Like they were kind of not that big a deal by the time race day came.
Um, Speaking of temperatures, man, like I know at one point it started, the temperature started to drop. It started getting cold. You're out there with broken ribs, and it got cold enough to the point where your camelback actually froze. So
Yeah.
you didn't have any water for a while. How long did you actually go without water?
So I was when the race started, you leave and go up like up and over a little mountain range, and I had heard someone that had a thermometer or not, whatever on their bike
Hmm.
that I think they said 18 degrees going up over the summit.
Damn.
And for me, yeah, there was a situation where that was probably like an hour and a half into the race. I think it was still dark.
Hmm.
The race started at like 3 in the morning. And I went for a drink out of my camelback, pulled the hose off my chest right here, put the hose in my mouth, and I couldn't get no water. And so I thought I had a pinch in the hose, and I was like pissed at myself that I had a pinch in the hose that when I put it in my backpack. And then all of a sudden I realized I was getting little ice crystals through the hose. And I was like, holy shit, my camelback's frozen. It is cold out here.
Damn.
So, but after that pass, you drop down into the desert pretty quick,
Hmm.
and it heated up. I don't know what it was, probably like 75 degrees or something.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, by the
Okay.
time the sun came up.
Okay. Man, to top things off, like with the temperature dropping, broken ribs, you ended up. I'm not sure if it was as a bar mount you broke or something happened with your triple clamps and you lost a lot of ability, a lot of you couldn't really control the bike. Your steering was
Yeah.
just you had to back off the pace. What happened there?
So about 700 miles in, I was riding it. It was dark again already. I'd ridden all day. I had a pretty decent lead. Um, when I say decent, it was probably like 45-minute lead, I think, from what I was hearing, which I was okay with. That was about where I wanted to be heading into the night. And then I got into that section around race mile 700, and the bike started feeling funny. And I thought I had a front flat or something was going on with the wheel. So I just kind of rode it for a while, but I was going a lot slower. And then after looking at it, yeah, one of the bolts that holds the bar mount onto the triple clamp, which is a pretty hefty bolt. I've never even heard of that breaking before, so I don't know what happened with that. If I over torqued it,
Hmm.
8 months earlier when I had put that on there, or what the deal was. But that bolt actually sheared off, so my handlebars were going sideways while the front wheel was pointing straight, basically. And
Damn.
so I came to a road crossing where my chase crew was at, and it was just a fiasco in the dark on the side of the road trying to find parts. And we had all the GPS wiring and stuff all mounted on that, so we had to take all that apart, and it was crazy. It was chaos.
Now, you going into this race, you were the points leader for the Ironman championship, right? At that time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I had a small lead, like a real small lead. So
Okay.
it was coming down to between me and another guy named Aaron Richardson. So it was kind of
Okay.
whoever won was going to get it. It was what it was looking like.
And is that part of the drive why you wanted to kind of get out there? Like, did you know at that point, like after you had that injury, before you even came into the race with broken ribs, did you know that you wanted to finish this race because you wanted the championship, or you just felt like you had to do it, or you wanted to do it?
It was probably a little bit of everything. I mean, that was the whole goal from the get go at the beginning of the year was to earn the championship. You know, just to say I did it, basically just for fun. So yeah, so yeah, I mean, it was that and a little bit of pride. You know, I didn't want to give up. Just a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But yeah,
Wow. So you at one point, like, did you make the whole 1,000 miles, or did at one point did you say, you know what, I got all this injury, I got broken bar mounts, the bike's mangled,
yeah.
did you throw in the towel and was just like, fuck it, I'm done, or did you just ride it out?
I mean, I wanted to be honest with you, like whenever that happened, that race mile 700, but no, I never threw in the towel. I was bummed because I knew my lead was gone and stuff. You know, I was a little bummed out on that. Like it was a little bit, I don't know, it was a little bit of a hit,
Hmm.
but yeah, the whole time I kept pushing. I mean, it took us probably 45 minutes to an hour to make the repairs and stuff. So I had time to kind of sit there, but it was chaos. I was freezing. I couldn't feel my fingers or my arms or nothing. Everything was all froze up. I mean,
So,
just cramped up, and froze up. But yeah, we just kept pushing with the help of all my chase team and stuff, and it ended up working out. It was kind of cool at the end.
nice.
But
Now, do you actually get delusional at any point going for so long and that many miles when you're out there all by yourself? Because I know you guys get out front for so while, but at one point it starts to become dangerous, because if you have like a bar mount or something happens to you, and then you got these trophy trucks coming up behind you that are doing 100 and something miles per hour in the desert. I mean, you probably got a lot that's playing in your head at that point.
I mean, I would say like up until that point, up until race mile 700, I felt like for me, I was in like some kind of like zone where I was totally focused and everything was, it was exactly as a plan was supposed to go. After that, I definitely slowed down a lot.
Hmm.
I think just everything kind of hit me and overwhelmed me, so I backed off quite a bit. And I don't know if I would say I was having any like seeing stuff like they say you see stuff out in the middle of the desert and stuff, but it was definitely like it was hard. Like I was exhausted for sure.
Hmm.
So
And when you get done with the race, man, how was it just being able to dismount off the bike after being on the bike for so long?
I think I think people had to help me. The way I remember it, I actually think I started crying too, just like just overwhelmed. Like I was just done. Like it was like I mean I've never been to war or nothing, but so I can't really compare it to that. But it felt like I went to war, and it was finally over.
Hmm.
It's just the overwhelming feeling, and I was in bad shape, both physically and mentally for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how was the aftermath of everything, man, and how long did it take you to actually recuperate for something like that?
I think I went back to the house in Ensenada and I only slept for like 4 hours or something, and then we had a bunch of friends there, and so it was like I woke up and we ended up just we went out, started drinking and stuff. So, yeah, and that went on for like 2 or 3 days,
Hmm.
and then so I wasn't feeling too much pain then, and then I got home. Yeah, I was like 3 weeks probably. I was just exhausted all the time, for 3 weeks
Yep.
like that.
Damn, man. That's a crazy story, dude. So like I said, man, I just doing the Ironman, doing 1,000 miles, it's crazy. But you were able to go through all that, bring home the 2022 championship in the Ironman Baja 1,000. I got to salute you to that, man, because you don't hear too many people, you know, winning this race under those type of circumstances, and
Yeah,
that's just physically around the world, man. You don't, not 1,000 miles, not solo. You know,
yeah,
you can do it as a team, but to do it by yourself is on a whole nother level.
no, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a really cool experience. I mean, the whole thing was something I'll never forget. But I'm doing it again this year, so
That was my next one, man. You lined up. You already signed up to do it again this year,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, I'm
Damn,
already signed
man.
up. So
Damn, you're a
yeah,
warrior, dude.
I'm gonna go out there and freaking suffer again, I guess. But it's all good. It's all fun.
Nice, nice. Well,
Yeah.
Brandon, dude, I want to thank you, man, for coming onto the show, Blacklisted MX, sharing your story, man. You're welcome back anytime. I like to see how your 2023, if you're gonna be able to hold that number one plate once again this year, man. Let
All
us know
right,
how you
thank you.
do. Not a
Yeah,
problem, man.
thank you. Thanks for having me on here. I appreciate
Not
it.
not a problem. Any shout outs you want to give? Any plugs you want to give? Well, I got you.
I mean, thank you to your boy Donnie Donovan for coming down there and supporting me and
Yeah,
having
yeah,
some beers with me.
yeah,
And then
no doubt.
of course, thanks to Baja Bound Insurance, Eagle Roofing, IMS, all those guys helped me out down there. Ryan Liebelt Incorporated. There was a ton of people that helped me, so I appreciate all that.
Right on, Brandon, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the show, dude. Next time in Cali, man. Hopefully, I get able to be able to meet you physically, man. We talked over the
Yeah.
phone a couple times. Like I said, we didn't link up while I was there that time, but we'll definitely link up at one point, man. But you always got my support, buddy, no matter what.
All right. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Peace.